Comité Noviembre commemorates its 35th anniversary with the launch of its 16th annual National Puerto Rican Artisan Fair and Book Expo, co-sponsored by PRIDA for the fourth year. Started in 2006, the Puerto Rican Artisan Fair has attracted an average of 50 to 60 Puerto Rican visual artists to showcase their exquisite handmade crafts, followed by the addition of the Book Expo in 2012, which brought an average of 13 authors to the fair, increasing our total to 80 Puerto Rican visual artists and authors participating per year and captivating over 3,000 people annually. The National Puerto Rican Artisan Fair and Book Expo has become one of the largest Puerto Rican cultural events outside of Puerto Rico and in the United States, thanks to the vision of its leadership, specifically Luis Cordero Santoni, who for 14 years has organized this amazing event. As we celebrate Puerto Rican Heritage Month, Comité Noviembre has transformed its venue to represent an array of artists, sculptors, vejigante mask makers, and authors who promote and sell their amazing pieces of work. Since 2008, Hostos Community College has served as the home for the National Puerto Rican Artisan Fair and Book Expo, and we are delighted to be returning this year to present a more intimate gathering post-COVID so we can highlight our Puerto Rican authors and artists both in person and virtually. This traditional pre-Thanksgiving event ushers in the holiday season by reaffirming the beauty and relevance of our Puerto Rican heritage. We hope you will join us in the celebration, enjoy the beauty our artistic community has to offer. Bienvenidos and welcome to the virtual artist talk for the 16th annual Artisan Fair and Book Expo. I'm happy to have join us Sara Morales, Vivian Lipman-Denis, Vanessa Peters, Hector La Fosse, and Theresa Varela, who will talk to us about their work, their art, and their whole experience in Puerto Rican culture. We thank you for joining us tonight, and we look forward to celebrating this year for Puerto Rican Heritage Month, all the wonderful things that we have as our legacy, as a culture, as a history, as a people. And we're glad that you're joining us in this virtual event as we celebrate our 16th year. Now, right now, I'm going to ask a few questions so people can get to know about you and also why you're participating in the Artisan Fair and Book Expo this year. And we are so happy to have you today. Now, our first question will go out is, what is the genre of your work and how do you feel it expresses your connection to your Puerto Rican heritage? Vanessa, we'd like to start with you and let us know a little bit about your work and why you've come back to the Artisan Fair this year.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really wonderful to be here and to share this space with these wonderful artists and authors. I am a painter. My medium is primarily oil and acrylic on canvas and mostly impressionistic work that I do. The work that I do is a lot of self-portrait and animal symbolism, as well as works around my own spiritual journey. So that's mostly the work that I do. And I decided to join this year because the virtual element was a big part of that for me. I live in Brooklyn, so sometimes, Bronx is close, but not that close when it's trying to get there. So I was really happy about the virtual component that I would be able to join. The last time I was able to take part was 2013. So I'm really excited about the virtual component this year.
Wonderful. Hector La Fosse, how do you feel about your experience and coming back to the Artisan Fair this year? And what do you bring to all of us who are viewing you tonight?
Hi, guys. I'm also glad to be back. I come here because this is Latino rooted. And as a Latino Puerto Rican, this is where I need to bring myself so that I can be known to the world. So this is sort of like an outlet, but the primary purpose is so that the message can get out and I can help other people. I can save lives because my book, it's a sort of a self-help book. I'm an author, of course, and I'm an author of this title, No Regrets, The Journey. We just became a #1 bestseller about 4 months ago. I'm also an award-winning author. And we also have the Spanish version of that, Un Camino Sin Lamentos. So the story, although it's about me, it's really about the hope. It's about giving back. And on this venue, that's what I hope to do, to reach other people that have gone through similar stuff, or maybe a family member that I can help through my story. It's a memoir of my life, very hardcore, but some are calling it a self-help book. So when I come to these outlets like PRIDA, it gives me that opportunity, that base, that forum, so that I can connect to New Yorkers, to the world. And we're hoping to do that, just to reach out and make the story well known throughout the world, because it's something people need to hear. And if you read it, you'll understand what it's all about.
Thank you, Hector. You uplift us in spirit and light. And all of us who are here tonight, we all need that. It's been a very long year, and we move forward with our artistic expression. So thank you for sharing. Congratulations on your #1 bestseller. We move now to Sara and Vivian, who work as a duo, and they have a wonderful arts collaboration. Can you tell us a little bit about that and your experience about coming back this year?
I am Sara Morales. I am half of Fabiana Arts. Vivian Lipman-Denis is the other half. Our motto is capturing moments of the New Yorican experience. And our intent is to put in painting our rituals, our practices, our customs, our lifestyle, so that people can be educated on who we are. Because most of the time when you say the word Puerto Rican, the first thing that comes to people's minds is Hurricane Maria, the economy, the politics. Not to say that those things are not important. They really are. But our culture gets placed in the background. And as a result of that, nobody knows who we are. So our intent is to really educate people with regard to the beauty of our culture, whether it's mainland Puerto Rican or island Puerto Rican.
Hi, I'm Vivian Lipman-Denis. And in this digital world where we're starting to lose a lot of our, we're losing our pictures and our memories, a painting is forever. So we enjoy putting it on canvas and enjoy sharing that with the community.
That's wonderful. Thank you for both of you, because keeping our culture alive through our children and the work and the impact that we have in our community comes in many different forms. And each of you really show that. And to end, just talking about coming back and, reflecting on our Puerto Rican heritage, Theresa, please let us know how you feel and all the wonderful work you have done with your writings. Please help us explore that with what you have to say.
Thank you. I appreciate being here. It's really great to be with the other artists and authors. So I write, and my genre is mystery, and also I will say noir, which I wasn't sure it was noir, but I've been told by others it is, and I've seen it advertised as noir, and so that's what I do. Mostly I write about women in New York City and the urban landscape of, Puerto Rican heritage, and the things that they experience and their really passage toward hope and to life and to fulfilling who they are meant to be, with, of course, the important men and the important other women in their lives. I tackle topics such as domestic violence, mental illness, health, all the hard topics, that's what I tackle. Substance abuse, alcoholism. I'm a nurse, and I work with these people every day. They're my people. Like my father used to tell me, you see those people over there playing dominoes at the corner? Those are your people, and that's what I grew up in. And I want to tell those stories. I got my PhD in theory development and research at NYU. So I was trained to do research, but when it came down to it, that's not my passion. My passion is writing stories where other people can learn, other people can share, and identify with a global experience. And it doesn't matter what, although I am Puerto Rican and that's the lens that I bring to whatever work that I do. You know, I've had people of all cultures, of all ethnicities say to me, I identify with the story, because it's just more than being a Puerto Rican story. It's a human story. So my latest book that I'm going to put here is Coney Island Siren. And this book is about domestic violence. I would have to say it's a beautiful story. I feel like I channeled it. A lot of poetry in there. Story of two women who are dealing with this, you know, terrible, you call it disorder, disease, you know, violence in families. And I also won an award at the Latino Book Awards, the International Book Awards. And I'm working on my next one. So every year when I go back to the PRIDA event, people say, so what book do you have out now? What's now? And it's like, it's coming, it's soon. So thank you.
That's great. And congratulations. It sounds wonderful. I'm going to piggyback off of that a little bit, Theresa, because I really feel all that you have all shared really gives us a scope of where we are as a Puerto Rican culture and also as a people. It's taken a lot of time, and the Artisan Fair and the Book Expo really gives an opportunity for a diverse group of artists and visual artists and book authors to really celebrate and to really, you know, show their experience and their impact on the community. So I'll put that out there to all of you, and I'll start with Sara and Vivian. Show a little bit of your work and let us know how is that impacting your experience and what you want to share with others, especially this is not in person, but when people come and see your work, how would you like that to impact them? And where do you like that? And show a few of your pieces so we see that connection.
Okay. This is a piece that I just completed. I have to step back a little bit because it's kind of large. And it's a mandala. Okay. And I'm going to bring it up closer so you can see the detail of it. You will see it has malanga, it has guanabana, it has an avocado, it has a mango, it has sugar cane. It's a beautiful description of our food. And I've also done a mandala of Puerto Rican flowers. And this is all done in colored pencil. And we're doing posters of this. And Raesha, just so you know, we're also doing scarves. We're going to be doing silk scarves of those. So I'll be contacting you when they're
That's wonderful. Vivian, do you guys collaborate? Do you both collaborate with the work that you're trying to see a beautiful picture that you have in the background?
Yes, I wanted to talk about that.
Okay.
This year, because of the pandemic, this year during the pandemic, I got an opportunity to start. I am basically an oil painter, but I got an opportunity to start pastel painting, which so one of the most important people in my life was, of course, my mother. And what better way to immortalize her but then to draw and paint? When I paint, it usually takes a really long time, whereas pastels is a shorter time. And so I found an old photo of my mother that was fading, and I wanted to keep her memory alive. So I did this pastel drawing of her. I tend to enjoy doing in the past, in the 70s and the 60s is what, can you see this? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. In the 60s, but it whenever someone sees it, I enjoy hearing them say, oh my God, that's how it was for me. That's what my living room looked like. Or, you know, that's something that I did. So I find that we have a lot of similarities with our community, and I'm going to tell you that the reason why I love this fair so much is connecting with the community and finding out what is the pulse. What is it that they enjoy? What would they enjoy hanging in their home? What pieces we can do that will get them excited and feel good about putting in their home.
I'm going to go to my lovely Vanessa Peters, who, you know what, I don't know if you have any work that you have created or done in the years, because you have beautiful work that you've done, but I just want to know, how does that reflect your experience, your Puerto Rican heritage? You've always talked about that, especially since you say you work in acrylics and painting. It would be wonderful to hear your journey.
So for me, you know, I learned to paint and, well, mostly draw from my father's old art books. That's how I learned. And then I really started painting in college. And then I had a 7-year stretch where I didn't paint at all. I completely stopped painting. And I wanted to get back to that. And part of doing that was trying to figure out, you know, where am I in my own journey? So a lot of my artwork is reflective of my own self-evolution as a woman, a Latina, a mom, a wife, a daughter. You know, those titles are very tied to who we are as Latinos, who I am in, you know, my Puerto Rican culture. You know, those titles hold weight. We have our, you know, customs and different things that make us unique. So, you know, going through that journey, I started to paint myself to discover, who am I? What am I? You know, what do I want for myself? You know, what do I want to share with my son? Because as being a parent, you're passing down what was passed down to you. So this is one of my paintings. So part of it, this one is Third Eye Open. This is acrylic on canvas. And it's about opening up to that part of yourself, you know, that journey of self-discovery. And I think part of that journey for me was I became a Nichiren Buddhist. And I think also part of my journey is sharing a different view of who Puerto Ricans are out there. You know, everybody assumes, you know, a Puerto Rican is all one thing, but there are Puerto Rican Buddhists, there are Muslim Puerto Ricans, there are Jewish Puerto Ricans. So, you know, having all those different things, being able to share with my community of a different view of who we are and, you know, what that journey looks like as a Latina, as a mom, as a Buddhist. So my website is thebrooklynbuddha.com. And that's where you'll find my artwork and, you know, all my Instagram, it's the Brooklyn Buddha. Because that my Buddhist practice has really helped me shape who I am and what I want to be, but that doesn't take away from, you know, the Puerto Rican part of me. So it's a marriage of all those things and the journey of what that looks like. So I want to share that with the community and for other women who are in my similar situation, trying to figure out, who am I, you know, who do I want to be? Who was I told I should be? And do I have to respond to that, or do I create a different definition for myself?
Thank you for sharing, Vanessa. That's wonderful. Love and light to all the work that you're doing and all our beautiful women and our gentlemen, Hector La Fosse and Theresa, who are our book authors here tonight with us. I like to circle back with the both of you, Hector and Theresa, just to talk about, you have had an impactful journey with your writings and what you've talked about, and talking about issues that really reflect on healing, rebuilding, recovery, and trying to do that in a very thoughtful way, where especially within our Latino culture, sometimes those things aren't addressed or talked about. And I would just like to hear from the both of you, just like I mentioned, what kind of impact do you feel your work has had on our community, and what you would like to share with others? Because like you said, people always come, especially to our book expo. It's a great thing. People still love to read. People still love literature and work. But from our Puerto Rican artists and reflecting on our heritage and our families, how does that affected you and your experience in sharing that with the community?
Well, I'd like to start. Is that okay, Hector?
That's fine. Go ahead, Theresa.
Okay, great. Okay, so I guess, you know, in the person who tells secrets, maybe in, you know, through my writing, it can be difficult for some people, but I think it's so important for us to grow and to continue being, you know, to progressing and being who we're meant to be. Vanessa made me think of, I think it's because I take it so, it's so natural that, you know, my characters as myself are always involved in spiritual lives, which is so important to our healing. And in my writings, I usually address the Lukumi, which is part of the Yoruba tradition, which I am a part of, and also my characters are. You know, I wanted to read a book, I wanted to read a mystery where we talked about spiritism, where we talked about the Orisha tradition, where we talked about, you know, using tarot, or, you know, that those were things that I was aware of going to me. Says I wanted it in a mystery book. You know, Agatha Christie never brought that to me. Nancy Drew never brought that to me. So I decided that that had to come from me. Like that was the gift that I could give, so that, you know, other people like myself could also identify and see themselves in books. It's so important for us, for our culture. So that is the gift that I've been given to share. And I, you know, you brought to mind with your question, I did a poetry reading one night, and one of the servers that was there as a caterer, she came from the back of the room. She came to me after I had read from this book, and she was in tears, and she said, you must be in domestic violence too. You know my story. You know what I'm going through. She said, thank you so much for saying the things that I have been afraid to say out loud. And she was going for help at that point. But I thought, wow, here was a sister. Here was somebody who could come up to me and say, you know, I'm being helped by your writing. And if that one person or one email, whatever it is that I get, you know, in return, that shows me that I'm doing the work that, you know, that my higher power wants me to do, that my spiritual guide wants me to do. So that's how I'll respond to that, how important it is for us.
That's wonderful. Hector, you wanna continue that thought?
Absolutely. Well, first, I just want to say that there are not many Latino authors, especially Puerto Rican authors. And the cemetery is full of dreamers. A lot of these people never got to put their story into paper. There's so many fascinating stories out there. I was one of those guys that was always afraid to share, afraid to tell the truth about, you know, what I was feeling and what I was experiencing. And, you know, as looking deeper into this, I realized that a lot of Latinos have the same issue. We hide in secrecy. Everything is a secret. And we learned that early on when our parents used to say, whatever happens here stays here, right? And so a lot of things happen in the household that we grew up just carrying the pain of it. So because my story is a hope story. It's about the freedom, about the secrets and the mask. See, we hide behind a lot of the stuff because, you know, they say we're machos, you know, with my Puerto Ricans, Latinos, you know, we have a lot of ego and that macho man stuff. So we don't need to get vulnerable and share some stuff with the world that's gonna, you know, affect our spirit or our personality, because it's always about image, right? We live in an image world. Like I've never been satisfied with who I was. I always wanted to be something other than me because of the secrets, the pain. Like this story is about that, the secrets and the pain. And so my hope is to, by reading my story, that you can find the courage and the comfortability to say, wow, you know, that man shared my story and he had no qualms about it. Maybe I can get some help and learn how to do the same thing. Because listen, my story is so profound, right? I carried these secrets for 45 years. And 45 years as a child, so many things happened to me. I didn't get to experience any success at all up until, you know, maybe 23 years ago, where I started to like slowly surrender because I started to get some help. But the secrets had me so toxic that everything I did, everything I touched, every thought I had was negative. And the results of my actions were all negative, you know, like bad experiences. So I actually thought I was cursed, you know, that God didn't like me for some reason. But what it was is that I never got to release these secrets that had me so in such pain, in such misery. Like no relationship in my life worked because I brought that stuff into everything and everyone's life. So I was like a wrecking ball. And, you know, I crashed one day because I realized, you know, what's wrong? Why I keep experiencing the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. And that's because the in me had not changed. The outside was beautiful, right? You know, handsome, you know, women, cars, you know, all the good stuff that the ego needed to survive. But the inside, there was a void. And that's where all the pain was at. So until I didn't start to uncover some of that stuff, I wasn't going to be happy. I wasn't going to be free. I wasn't going to live or experience any success. You know, this book was the beginning of my freedom. When I revealed this book, that was the first time I ever shared my secrets. That's when I took off the mask. And that was the beginning of my life to freedom. And the success that came after that was because I released the demon within. The battles, the internal battles that I was always struggling with, I let them out into the universe. And so now I'm free. So everything positive is coming in. And I'm living a, you know, a good life, very spiritual life, enhanced life, because I let go of some of those things that I carried all my life. And so that's why my book is connecting with a lot of people. And I get that all the time, especially like, you know, name brand musicians that want to talk. And when they say, hey, Hector, you know, I like to talk to you one day. I read your book. I already know what that means, you know? And so people got to get ready. And until somebody doesn't crack the nut, they're not going to get the bravery they need to release it. And so that's what I'm hoping about my story, to connect with a lot of people, to say, Contra, I can do that. He did it, right. So can I. And as a Latino, it gives me pride. And, you know, a lot of us, you know, come from the inner city. I grew up, I was born and raised in New York City. And so a lot of that stuff is rooted. So everything we do, you know, has an effect. And so because we're retroactive, we're like, you know, we respond to anything that's negative. And so it's time to break the chain and change that. And through my book, I'm hoping that I can do that. And it's proven to be that effective. Thank you.
Thank you, Hector. And thank you for sharing your life story and having the courage to tell your truth. Because I think that's something we all go through, whether you're an author or an artist. And I think, Vanessa, you expressed that, Theresa, Vivian, Sara, it's all about knowing your truth and being able to share that openly. And I think through your talent and your work, many of our visual artists and authors, you have a great gift. You can share what most of us can't. You can connect with what most of us cannot see. You're able to express what most of us cannot share clearly. And at this time, when we have something as powerful as the work that you have done and still are doing, and being able to highlight that at a very national event like the Puerto Rican Artisan Fair and Book Expo, I'm gonna just have the founder and the executive director, Luis Cordero, say a few words, because his thought and vision with Comité Noviembre's Teresa Santiago, that over the years have given a platform for our artists and our authors to have a place to be. It was really something very impactful and significant that has made a difference, it seems, in all of your lives. And I know Luis would really express, you know, how important that was to give everybody a platform and a place to be.
It's a great experience. I'm glad to know that you guys appreciate what the Artisan Fair has brought. It was something that was started as somebody's crazy idea, not mine, but somebody's crazy idea a long time ago. And we, you know, a team of us supported wholeheartedly by Comité Noviembre and Theresa Santiago, we made it work. And every year it's been now, this is number 16, but for 14 years, I basically, you know, led the team that put it together. We had a way of working together. We had, you know, everybody had responsibility. We knew what we needed to do. And all of you guys kept coming back, which was like terrific. You know, we really didn't have to go out and drag people, like, you know, like pulling teeth. We didn't have to drag people to participate in the fair. It was, you know, you guys did it. So, you know, let's just hope that it continues as many more years as possible.
It's the highlight of our year.
Here we have some of the finest. So that's an example to the people that we can, and you can too. You know, who knew that I would be an inventor? I got a US government patent. Did I know what I was doing? Absolutely not, because I got robbed, right, by somebody that I showed, and now we're in litigation and stuff. But, you know, I never thought that I had that capacity because where I come from. And then once I tapped into it, I realized, wow, you know, I can do this. And that's all it takes. So we as, you know, artists, you know, we bring that hope. And hopefully people will latch on to that kind of stuff, you know, with this platform here. But I just wanted to say that.
I'd like to add to that, if I can add to that.
Sure you can, Sarah.
Before PRIDA, we didn't know how to market ourselves. We didn't know how to exhibit. We didn't know any of those things.
You see? Yeah.
And with the help of people, the people of PRIDA were very giving. They were willing to share their knowledge. And we started our collective in 2004, I believe. And from that point on, it has been an incredible growth experience because of PRIDA and because of the people of PRIDA. And it's very important for other artists to understand that if you have a family like this, then you could really take off. You can really grow. So people should really consider joining this group because it's an incredible group of all kinds of people. And to become part of a family gives you like more empowerment to just keep going and to get better and to you know, just improve on yourself.
And tell your stories.
Absolutely. And that's very important. And I want to thank you all for sharing all you have done today. You were the guiding light tonight for all the artisans and authors who will come today and come after you. So thank you for joining us tonight on this virtual artist talk. We have really appreciated all the things that you've actually enlightened us about, given us hope, given us inspiration. And I hope that PRIDA can continue to do the same for all of you. And as we celebrate the 16th annual National Puerto Rican Artisan Fair and Book Expo in collaboration and in partnership with Comité Noviembre and Theresa Santiago, whose vision and leadership has guided us through for the last 16 years, and her belief in the work that the Puerto Rican community can actually do and resolve and try to keep uplifting everything that we're doing. She's done that for over 35 years. This is their 35th anniversary. We're happy to be a part of that. We're happy to do this virtual artist talk because we want to continue to celebrate and uplift all of our visual artists and authors who've given so much and continue to bring to the community. That we thank you. And before we go, I like to just go around the table and just share with everyone, where can we find you? What website do you have? So this way we can be in touch with you. And also throughout the year, the holidays are coming. We want to lend you that support as well. Sarah and Vivian, where can we find you?
We're at www.savianaarts.com.
Wonderful.
And we
Vanessa.
have a shop on there too.
Okay. Oh, wonderful.
Nice.
Awesome. Thank you. Vanessa. I know you said your website before. Let us know where we can find you as well.
It is the brooklynbuddha.com. So www.brooklynbuddha.com. And I have my artwork there. And I also have, you know, different journals and things like that created from my artwork on my website. And then my Instagram is the Brooklyn Buddha as well. So please check it out.
Wonderful. Theresa.
Yes, you can find me at theresavarela.com and also at latinalibations.com. And there on Latina Libations, I've been working with fabrics and making bookish items like book sleeves and dream pillows and other sorts of creative arts. And also my oracle, which I didn't mention, my Graciela La Gitana oracle is a 56 deck set with a book to describe each card, and that's available on either website too. So that's just a whole other area of creativity.
That sounds wonderful, Theresa. And Hector, we would love to read your book and see all the wonderful things that you're doing. Where can we find you?
This is how I give back, through my story. This is how I share the inspiration and the hope. My website is www.noregretsthejourney, same as the book. IG, which is Instagram, same thing. Facebook, same thing. And another Facebook where I use a lot of my stuff at Hector La Fosse. I don't know if that's backwards over there, but Hector La Fosse, it's the personal one where I share a lot of stuff as well. And the Linktree and YouTube, it's all on here. I'm available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and Target.
Thank you, Hector. I appreciate that. And to all of you, thank you for your time and being with us. And as now we come to a close for the virtual event of our first annual virtual artist talk for our National Puerto Rican Artist Fair and Expo. We do appreciate you joining us tonight, and please reach out to our artists and authors, and please join us on Saturday, November 20th on Hostos Community College for our second segment of our Artisan and Book Expo in person at Hostos on Saturday, November 20th from 12 to 5. We'd love to have you join us, and we appreciate all our artists and authors that joined us tonight. Thank you, y que todos se cuidan. Have a good evening.
Bye.